Hi guys, I'm Kara and I love rom-coms.
Hi, I'm Kimmy and I love my cats and soulmates.
And I'm Dan and I love films.
But all three of us really love that it's just a divorce.
And this is
Just Kiss Already!
Is it
I was spelling it with an O, but are you thinking of like the Winnie the Pooh, Hunny, honey?
Oh no, I was thinking the honey,
like to a person.
Yeah, the Hunyey.
I always thought that you still spelled that like Ho.
I think people.
do.
I think you do, but I think it's more like a husband, so it's honey.
Oh.
Is that kind of the idea?
I think it's also good to be like, it actually is the Winnie the Pooh version, and that's
Yeah.
how I think of my love interest.
Oh,
It'd be
as
like,
Winnie the Pooh?
You're the
no pants.
I call it Donald ducking.
Yeah.
I shit you not. One of my best friend has texted me, this man poo beared me while having sex, so kept the shirt on.
The only addition would be if he kept socks on as well.
This
If it was just the
This is a
pants
few
and
years ago,
undergarments.
but she texted me, he poo beared me. And I was like, what does this mean?
I mean, I've definitely Donald ducked after like a late night. Like, when
I've
you get
Donald
home.
Is Donald Duck? I feel like Donald Ducks his socks too.
No.
No? Oh, because he has webbed feet.
Yeah, he has webbed feet.
But I think Pooh Bear's more funny.
No,
Pooh
you
Bear.
get home from a late night, you've been out or whatever, and you might be a little hungover. You might be a little buzzed, and you kind of just forget to take the top off.
Oh my god.
And so you Donald duck it and get into bed and fall
Pooh Bear.
asleep.
He Pooh Beared.
Hey y'all, oh my god, didn't see you there. Welcome back to Just Kiss Already. Oh my god, you may have noticed a couple of new voices chattering in the mic. These are my two good friends, Dan and Kimmy, are joining me here today. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hello.
Dan. Yes.
My name is Daniel Scott DeJess.
That's true.
I go mostly by Dan, and in close circles, Danathan. And I am a filmmaker, and I am excited to talk about a film.
Yeah.
I am Kimmy, also known in close circles as Kimby.
That is also true.
I am not as active filmmaker as Danathan, but I dabble.
Yeah.
I dabble in the films.
I guess if we're introducing our close circle names, I'm often known in close circles as Kilwa. So, just if we ever hang out outside and we become friends, there you go. You already know. You don't even have to ask us what you can call us.
Close circle, closed.
But enough about that. We are here to talk to y'all about a movie that is very near and dear to the hearts of Dan and Kimmy, specifically, because I actually hadn't seen this movie until very recently. They brought it to me. And that is Crazy Stupid Love. Ooh. Ooh. Is that in the official title, Crazy Stupid Love? Ooh.
In some circles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in close personal. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I totally understand.
Back when the movie first came out, at the premieres that it had,
It will.
it was, yeah.
Back in when did this movie come out? 2011.
2011, yeah.
2011.
2011 is another way you can say that.
Oh yeah, 2011.
Do you know when you first watched the movie?
I know. I would say, Kimmy, that this movie is probably more to your heart than mine.
Oh.
For sure.
Well, that's a great jumping off point. Because I was like, I think I'm the first person out of this said group to watch this movie.
Ooh.
I watched this, I believe, back in middle school.
Nice.
So I was the same age as one of our main characters, Robbie.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's why it's very emotionally attached.
Yeah.
Because getting into the movie, the parents are planning to get a divorce. My parents were divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So having a character that same situation was like, aw, because I really believe in love, and I wanted to be in Robbie's shoe and be like, I want to believe in love.
Yeah.
Was it at that time
that
your parents were getting divorced?
My parents got divorced when I was in kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
So they were already divorced, but it's still the thing of you want to see the people you look up to, aka your parents, be in love. And that is whole Robbie's shtick,
Yeah.
this movie. So I saw myself in him.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'll say it now. If you didn't already guess, we are going to be talking about the movie. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet, we definitely recommend you watch it before listening to this because it's really good. And there's some stuff I'd love for you to actually see before listening to us talk about it. But if you've already seen it or you like spoilers, hi, stick around. Keep listening. But Dan, how about you? When did you actually first see the movie?
I honestly don't remember when I first saw it. I definitely didn't see it when it first came out. It wasn't like a movie. I didn't go to the movie theater to see it. I want to say it was probably sometime in high school that I probably saw this. So probably like, anywhere from 3 to 4 years after it probably came out.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely, I've seen it multiple times since then though. Funny enough.
Same.
Became a rewatchable favorite.
Yeah, it's definitely it's not like an Oscar achieving movie. It's not.
Who needs them, right?
But it's definitely like a feel good. You could sit down, have a good time watching it.
Yeah.
I hate to use the term guilty pleasure movie. I feel like it falls into the category of guilty pleasure movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I just saw this movie like an hour ago for the first time. And I know that's crazy since I introduced myself as the rom-com watcher in the group. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I had yet to see, and both Dan and Kimmy had come to me giving me high recommendation, being like, this is good and you should watch it. And so I'm glad I was able to watch it with them actually, because wow, it was a wild ride. I can easily see myself rewatching this. I had a lot of fun. It was stressful. It was so stressful, but in like the exact way that I want my romantic content to be stressful.
Just enough.
Yeah, just enough. If it's too much, you go too far, but it was like, oh, I'm so losing my mind, but I'm having a good time.
You have to have the tension. You have to have the tension, and this movie does it so well.
And the resolution at the end was like so worth it. So yeah, I could 100% see myself not only watching this again, but recommending it to other people and wanting to watch it with them when it's their first time.
That's what I was gonna say. This is the perfect movie to not just recommend, but watch with other people.
Yeah.
Like watching someone else watch this is an experience in itself.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm sure y'all enjoyed my reaction, just absolutely losing it on the end of the couch.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to make sure that I wasn't reacting too early to something that I was remembering.
I'll be so honest, there was like a couple of times where the thought did enter my head, like, oh, I feel like Dan and Kimmy aren't really like reacting very much. I'm like, is it just me? But now I know it's because you wanted me to have that moment.
Yes, there were times
respect.
I would look at Dan being like, there's a moment coming up
Yeah.
that we both know is coming up, and we cannot speak upon it.
There was that scene where the mom goes into the babysitter's room.
Oh my god!
And I had chuckled there because I knew what was going to happen, and I had to be like, oh wait, I have to wait a second. I can't laugh yet because I have to wait for Kara.
Same with the shopping scene. The shopping scene is at the beginning of the movie.
Oh
yeah. Literally, I was like, this is my favorite scene. Very quietly, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. So I'll just give a brief synopsis of the film, or I guess a little tagline.
Yeah.
Tagline is the better word for it. So basically, Crazy Stupid Love is a rom-com that, from the very beginning, is a couple who is getting a divorce, and then we're seeing how that affects not just their families, but outside characters that we get to meet. And it's amazing.
Yeah, we kind of have like a few like main couples or storylines that we're following, obviously. We have the divorced couple, or the couple that is getting a divorce, maybe.
The Weavers.
The Weavers. I thought for a second, you said the Leavers, and I was like, wow.
Well, they are leaving each other.
They are leaving each other.
Pull the Weaver.
Yeah. Then we have Cal, our main man Cal. He meets a friend at the bar, Jacob, right? And then we kind of end up following his own love story with a character that we first meet as Hannah. And then, spoiler alert, like I said, we're gonna talk about it. This is your last chance. All right, is it just us? Okay, cool. So then she ends up being Nana, and then that's actually their daughter. And then there's also like a subplot where like the parents' babysitter, and then also their son, and the son has a crush on the babysitter, but the babysitter has a crush on the dad. And it's just like a whole absolute mess of just everybody is connected, and you don't see it at first, and then it all happens later in the most hilarious, stressful, ridiculous way. Just in the backyard, everybody's there.
The best scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is the, like everything culminating to that point.
Yeah.
And that's the payoff.
They did a great, I was losing my goddamn mind throughout that scene. I was like, I cannot, like I knew this was going to happen, because of course it was going to happen, but oh my god, somebody please do something.
I think they did the build-up so well,
Yeah.
because throughout the movie, you get characters mentioning a person named Nana.
Yeah.
And
which I completely over my head. I was
Yeah.
like, that's like
Yeah.
a grandma, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. In
Yeah.
real life, if I heard someone say, my Nana, or I talked
Did you talk to Nana?
Yeah, I would think, oh, a grandmother figure. But
Yeah.
no, it's literally, and they like teased us so much. There's a character named Hannah, and like they keep actively say Hannah Banana. Like the words are there,
It's there.
and you miss it for the first time watching.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I totally, just completely blind.
But I think you have to do that, which they did well, because if you didn't have any of that, if they just had it where it was supposed to be all off screen, I just don't think the payoff at the end works as well. Because like in terms of like, if they had just been like, not said, hey, have you called Nana, or I just talked to her, or addressing her,
Yeah.
in terms of the Weaver family, then them culminating at the end would feel like forced.
I mean, yeah,
And-
100%.
And not, yeah.
Because I feel like when I was just now watching it, I was already kind of like stressed and being like, oh my god, because he's doing this romantic thing, but the dad of this teenage girl is driving over to get mad at him about the fact that he found her like scandalous pictures. I'm already like, oh my god. And then while I'm in that state of mind, all of a sudden Hannah and Jacob show up, and I was like, what are they doing here? And then the freaking, what's his name? The guui, the work friend.
David Lynn Hagen.
Lynn
sorry,
Hagen.
Lynn Hagen.
Again.
Lynn Hagen. He
Yeah.
shows up. You forgot your cardigan. And I was like, oh my god.
I think it's the looks between Cal and Jacob, which
Yeah.
is Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell.
Yes.
Just the like,
The
hello?
Yeah, the double takes.
The double
The-
takes.
So
And then
good.
when Hannah goes, you know him, Daddy? And and Jacob, Ryan Gosling's character, just going like, please don't call him Daddy.
please don't.
Like,
So good.
yeah.
Ugh.
I think this twist is one of the best rom-com twists,
Yeah.
too. Because I feel like we usually in rom-coms get like, oh, like, I cheated on you. Or like, it was a miscommunication the whole time.
Yeah.
This one, it's like a family relation twist.
Yeah.
Which, name one other movie that's in a rom-com, that it's a family relation
I can't
twist.
even name another movie. I'm so
Can't
sick.
name one
I
other
can't
movie.
even name a movie.
Yeah, the only other film I think about of like connected storylines at all would be like the Love Actually movie
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
with like the Brit, because some of those are connected.
Yeah.
With
I mean, they're-
but that's the only one I can like quickly think about, and that's not a family
Yeah.
either. Like those are still separate people.
There's like a little bit. There was a little bit of a trend in rom-coms of the whole like multiple romantic stories that culminate in some way. Like I
Yeah.
believe there was one of them was like Valentine's Day,
Yep.
New Year's
Oh,
Day.
yeah.
That was they were always about a holiday,
Yeah.
and everybody was it was like a thing.
Classic.
And I still think that this one hit me harder than any of those, and it really, that twist, they got me.
And then
They
and
freaking
then,
got me.
And then you get a fight scene.
Yeah,
You get a fight
you get a
scene.
fight scene.
It's so good. Ryan Gosling punching someone will never not be hot.
It's fair.
I'll
Valid.
just
That's
say
a valid
it.
take.
He took
Respect.
off a ring and then punched a man. That is the definition of hot.
There you go.
Which-
You heard it here first. Kimmy's definition of hot.
Taking off a ring and then punching a man.
Yeah.
I mean, which makes sense with who you're with.
Yes.
has
'Cause
Logan ever taken off a ring and punched a man?
Not yet, but I'm
But-
hoping
You're waiting
soon.
for it.
doesn't
It's gonna
matter. He
happen
has a
one day.
ring that he can take off.
You hear
Yes,
that,
he does.
Logan? Listen, we're giving you tips.
Reviews don't know. No, that is my boyfriend.
So throughout the course of this film, we kind of have a couple of like main themes that come up throughout it. I feel like one of the biggest ones is definitely soulmates. This idea of having someone who is the person for you, and if you want them to be with you, you have to fight for them. You have to work for them. We see this in, I think, every kind of couple that is on screen. We get a little bit of a glimpse of it in a different way, which makes sense because they're all at kind of different life stages and different romantic stages in their relationships. But yeah, what did you guys think about the soulmate theme? How do y'all feel about that theme?
I love the idea of soulmates. In most romantic media I consume, soulmate is like,
you're a fan of the soulmate
I'm
trope?
a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a fan of the soulmate trope for sure.
Yeah.
I would say I love the theme of like fighting for someone you love, but I will make a little asterisk point.
Yes, please.
This is gonna
Please
be,
do.
this is what I was gonna follow with.
Fighting for what is it when someone like reciprocates?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the word? I'm
Reciprocated feelings.
That as long as both parties
mutual. It's mutual.
Yeah.
mutual love, then yes, fight for that love.
Yeah.
Asterisks, do not fight for someone that doesn't love you back.
That was the fine line for the Robbie, the Robbie Weaver, which is the son of the main character Cal, and his pursuance of his babysitter.
Yes.
The line, I think, it was really on the line. That was like the one that was on the fine line of it, because we're literally seeing people say, the babysitter say, and in text form being like, I am uncomfortable. Yeah. With the pursuance. Yeah. And I was like, ooh. I was like, yes, he's young and he's 13. So like, I'm like, I guess we're like, he's learning, and they kind of have that as the ending where he's like, I'm aware of what I did, but also...
I think they made a good point of like, he respected the fact, he's like, I'm sorry you were uncomfortable with all the said things I did, and then it's also like, I will take the time to wait now. Yeah. Which I think that...
I think that helps.
Yeah, I guess that's... helps.
I will say the final little pictures gift that she gives him, I feel like we could have done without. I feel like that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, like that was a reward. I feel like I guess because he had kept fighting, but he had learned his lesson of like seceding, and like this isn't the way to do it.
Yes.
But he still got rewarded. Which is like
the like general concept of it was there, because I agree. There were many times throughout it that I felt like we were kind of walking this line of, I feel like the fight for who you love theme trope. It's very similar to Kimmy. I think it is really sweet. I can think of a lot of examples of times where I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But I can also think of a lot of times where I was like, just give up. It's making someone uncomfortable. It's sometimes you gotta know when to stop. Even if it worked out magically in the end, it's like, what we went through to get there, was that worth it? And I do feel like that was the only couple that I felt that way about. Probably also because like he's a middle schooler and she's like 17, and like so there were also times where I was like, I mean, like I get it, you're young and you're stupid and you have a crush on your hot babysitter or whatever, but also like, oh my god.
Well, on the good flip side of it, we have Cal and Emily, who are like our main couple, who's the couple on the way to a divorce.
This is like the really good example of fight for who you love. You
can tell they both mutually love each other. Yeah. It's respected and it's there. It's not weird. So like that is the real highlight of like fight for your soulmate. Like when the both parties very much love each other, there's just things happening, like you lose connections and you lose just like yourself in a relationship. Yeah. It's good to fight for that back. Especially when you really love someone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dan, how do you feel about the soulmate theme?
I mean, I definitely come from an aspect of like hopeless, like as well as a hopeless romantic, right? Like you watch these and you're just like, I want my own romantic story. Yeah. But then I'm also like aware of real life. Fair. Which is why when I watch these, I'm just like...
Are you saying we are not aware of real life?
Wait.
I am. Okay.
This is a good topic. Do you think soulmates exist in real life?
Ooh. Oh gosh, that's such a deep question.
Do you believe in soulmates? Yes or no? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Funny. The other night, I was literally sitting in bed and I'm just like, I think it was like on social or watching something, and brain went, and then I went, damn, there's someone out there for you.
Aww.
But then also being like, there's also the work you have to do. It's like, this is where it's like, do soulmates exist? Because I think when people think about like, yeah, if you say soulmates exist, but that doesn't mean you can't. You have to. You still have to work for it.
Yeah, that's why the theme's good, because you have soulmate, and then you have to fight for soulmate.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting in that way. I don't know if I've ever like asked myself, or this is like first time being asked, like, do you believe in soulmates? But in the way of like, you kind of mentioned like with you're looking up at your parents and being like the ones you think should be together. Well, my parents have been together for I don't even know how long. I think they were like 30 plus years.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yeah. So, and that's like a good standard of romance, I guess. Or, but again, like, but no, like, I mean, I've obviously witnessed my parents. Yeah, even if they are soulmates to each other, and my mom and dad compliment each other in terms of flirting, right? It's like weird to be like, yeah, my parents are adults, so they're doing anything I've done or I'm doing or they've already done it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But also like I've seen, I mean, like because I grew up with I grew up in that household, I've seen them argue. I've seen them have to work at the relationship every day, every year, and I think it's like you're saying, this film is a good testament of that. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people that fall on hopeless romantics is the aspect that love is just gonna come. And like soulmates, if they do exist, there's someone out there. I just have to wait. It's like, no, you have to still work at it.
Mm. I disagree.
Ooh,
I disagree with that point. I think we're getting on similar lines, but it's just a little off. I think finding your soulmate just happens, and then you have to work to keep them.
Okay, I can understand that, but you still have to put in the effort of you have to put yourself out there in the aspect of doing something that would usually find that soulmate, or like for you and your soulmate to connect.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
Like you can't be sitting in your house and find someone or meet someone.
Sure? Because I think I found my soulmate on social media.
Yeah, but that was on an app. I'm saying like you're not expecting the delivery guy, which it could happen. I'm saying yes, it could. But like you still have to have a conversation. You still have to go to the point of being like, oh, let's go get a drink or let's go out.
Okay.
I'd like to chime in because I'm actually of a third opinion.
More opinions.
I don't know how I feel about the term like soulmate. I think it's kind of interesting, but if I were to put myself on do you believe in soulmates, I would say soulmates aren't there. They are made. You don't meet a soulmate. You build that soulmate relationship with somebody. So I don't know what that means. Like, oh, it could be anybody. I'm sure that it, like, obviously you connect more with certain people in the beginning, but I wouldn't necessarily say you have to find your soulmate. You have to build that relationship with somebody. That's mine.
Dan, I think our opinions just got
got him.
That's what I was trying to say, guys.
Yeah.
Kara said exactly what I was saying.
So I was listening to your thoughts, and then I was like, I'm gonna say that now.
There we go. We've reached the point.
So another big theme that we kind of have, that honestly, right when the movie started, I felt this so deeply in my soul, is this theme of honesty and communication. Because the very first thing, or one of the very first things we see in the film is, obviously we start with, I want to have a divorce, whatever, and then there's this scene in the car where it's like, okay, I'm trying to like talk about it, and Steve Carell is being like, just stop talking, don't talk, if you talk anymore, I'm going to jump out of the car. And the first thing that I wrote down was like, that's rom-com sin number 1, baby. It happens in every single rom-com. There is always some kind of problem with communication. Someone is not communicating, miscommunication. It's rule 1, baby. You gotta talk about things.
Yep. That would have helped. Like, that's why it's in rom-coms, because you're not gonna have the tension and like the plot without no one.
The movie doesn't happen.
I can't think of a single rom-com or romantic media that exists where communication wasn't a problem at some point. You know?
Because Emily Weaver wants to get a divorce because she feels like they've lost the magic, which is like, if you had spoken about it, maybe you wouldn't.
So crazy. But then we wouldn't have got this really funny movie. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, like, if Steve Carell's character, Cal, had stayed in the car and actually had even at that point, had the conversation with Emily, played by the wonderful Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
I just wanna mention. I feel like she's been underrated in some circles.
Nice.
Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
But I will say he does bring that up later too. The fact that he didn't communicate. He's like, I should have
Correct.
fought for you in that car.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Which again is like that setup and then the payoff of that arc and that
Yes.
that Cal's or Cal learned.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I mean like the start of it is that it has to be that he doesn't talk.
Yes.
And he does it again. I mean, he doesn't learn. Like it takes him a while because I think the timeline of this movie, she kind of mentions like this has been a crazy year. So we know this movie's at least taken over the span of a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when he's got the moving truck and he's moving and she's trying to talk about just like trying to re-talk about life, right? Midlife crisis and like what's going on. He still can't listen. He's just talking about the the petunias, the flowers, and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's an important note that he was listening. Like we see throughout the movie, he works on the garden in the backyard, like because he loves her. Like he does that because he loves her. So he was listening. It was more the fact that he's more focused on like his way of showing to love her, and not the way she wants him to show love.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there has to be that, like we talk about the different types of love,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So his would be that effect, like showing that.
Oh, you're talking about like love languages?
Yeah, love
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
And hers is
Acts of
obviously
He's
service.
right in the
Right.
acts of
Acts of
service.
service.
Exactly.
She
But-
just wanted words of affirmation.
Right, and which hits when it's that he used to do and had stopped doing, right? About the you're sexy, you're a mix of sexy and cute.
Yeah. Oh.
Which is why it hurts so much when she finds out she said that to someone else, right?
Yes, exactly.
But I was saying that there needed to be that middle, meeting in the middle, or one of the like when you get in arguments, it's like the different types of way you can end an argument. One of them is compromise, which you have to do in a relationship.
Yeah.
At times, for sure. Not always, but for sure, at times you definitely have to compromise.
Yeah. Because we also we kind of start out with this problem with communication, and then we also lead into this kind of rabbit hole of he then meets Jacob, and then the way of talking to women he learns is by never talking about yourself, by basically just completely avoiding talking about yourself or being honest.
Yeah.
Which is then it's really funny when the first time that he actually is able to woo a woman, it's because he is honest with her, and she's like, "Oh my god, honesty! That's so hot. This is so different."
And then Jacob actually finds love when he's talking to Emma Stone's character's Hannah, and they just communicate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He talk.
talks about himself, and it's like, see,
It's cute.
it's cute.
You have this entire montage of him learning how to talk to women,
Yeah.
and like you said, tries it, fails. And then it's just like everything he was told not to do, and then says it, and then that lands him.
Yeah.
Well, which is funny enough to me though, because then him in that moment he does that. He does the opposite of what Jacob told him to do, and he's honest, and he gets with the 8th grade teacher. But then after that, all of a sudden, that was like the catalyst to have him then be successful in the next montage, which is him just getting with all these women.
Yeah.
But
But
was it really successful?
well, in the aspect of we don't know if he was he still being honest or not with those when he lands, we find out it was 9 other women.
Yeah.
Or 8 other women, right? If it was 9 total.
Yeah, I guess.
So if it's 8 other women, was he doing the same thing where he was just honest, or was he then being like, oh no, that gave me the confidence that I now know how to be like Jacob
Yeah.
in that way of flirting and winning women over.
Interesting.
Wooing a woman.
Yeah.
Wooing is better.
Wooing a woman.
Wooing to women. Another kind of main theme that we have going on kind of comes from the title, which is like, it's called Crazy Stupid Love. People do stupid things for love when they are in love. It's kind of, I feel like it's a classic, you know?
It's the title one is Chef's Kiss.
Yeah.
Also the theme of doing crazy things when you're in love. The amount of stupid things that retrospectively I've looked back and been like, you were an idiot. That did not help in any scenario.
That's so funny.
Like when Robbie, the younger kid, does like the whole like at her school.
Oh, the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah. I'm like, that sounds like something I would have done.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, I did, like, oh god, stories from my past. I had a huge crush in it's all middle school, y'all.
It's always middle school.
Oh my god,
you know?
I was in band. Like, it was all the band kids had.
Did you choose to go to, like, band? Did you join band for a love?
No. But I think it's well-known knowledge. When you're in band in any sort of school situation, everyone loves each other.
Yeah, band
everyone
camp.
has a crush.
Band camp stories, crazy.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. But, like, I would just constantly be on, like, attached to my crush's hip. Like, constantly hugging and, like, being just like, I think I wrote him a note being like, I love you so much.
I did that,
blah,
but
blah,
I was
blah.
more nervous. I had, like, never really shown him that I liked him, and then I just kind of crashed him with a note.
Yeah.
I never saw that note again.
I didn't even do a note. I had a crush in middle school, and it ended up that I knew we were going to the same high school. So I was like,
Gasp.
you talk with them. It's like, oh, what classes are you taking? It's like, oh, cool. Found out there was an elective class, debate, right?
Oh my god.
Sign up for it. Freshman year, let's go. I'm excited. I get to class. She's not there.
No.
Turns out she dropped it and switched to something else.
And didn't tell you.
Yeah, it didn't tell me. Which, like, why? Right? Like, she didn't need to tell me.
I tried.
But it's funny enough. Like, then I go the whole semester and be like, I'm in debate class now.
I'm in debate class now.
Didn't want to take debate, but
I tried to ask out a crush in middle school. I like worked myself up to it. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna actually do it. And some of my friends like were making jokes to me, like being like, "Oh, don't like say something stupid," and I was like, "Haha, I'm not." Moment of truth comes. I went up to him. I said to him, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "You just did." Threw me off, dude. I was terrified already.
It's over.
And then I just looked at him. I said, "Can I ask you another question?" He was like, "Yeah, what?" And I stared at him and I blanked and I said, "Do you like asparagus?" And he said, "No, not really." And I said, "Me neither." And I ran away.
See,
No,
that's stupid.
Baby.
I think we're all missing out on how strong of a pickup line
Do you
like asparagus is.
I think one of my friends said that to me before. Like, she put it in my head. She was like, "Don't, like, ask him about something random like asparagus." And I was like, "I'm not gonna." And then it was the only thing I had.
I feel like that's a challenge I want to go do now. Be like, can I pick up someone with the line, "Hey,
Hello.
hey,
Hi.
do you like asparagus?
I don't eat it a lot.
Oh.
Do you want to?"
Oh, whoa, oh god.
I all of a sudden I just all of a sudden go to like how asparagus can just be an innuendo.
Yeah.
That's where it would go for sure.
Cleans your body out.
Moving back.
Yeah, like,
Okay,
ta-da!
we're just gonna- yeah.
It's really healthy for you.
Sure.
I think we've all noticed, like, it's all the middle school age too when you do embarrassing things.
It's the worst age.
Yeah, like going back to my crush in middle school, we were watching The Little Mermaid. It was like our school production.
Scandalous.
So this was not just like watching the movie. This was watching the play version.
Oh.
And I don't think he had a crush on me, so I'm Robbie in the situation. I held his hand the whole time and would not let go. Like, forced grip on this man's hand. And he wanted to move his hand, but could not.
Did you feel him like try?
Yes. Absolutely. But when you have a soulmate, you fight.
This is an excellent example of when not.
When not.
You do not let go. You treat that man like Jack from Titanic.
You quite literally did not let go.
Legit. But in retrospect, and like a year after that, this was middle school, so like when we went to high school, I definitely was like, sorry.
Yeah.
I was a small middle school girl who loved you and was just wanting to hold your hand.
Even me in like freshman year of high school.
Yeah, that's
like,
still like 14, you know?
Yeah, I'd be like sitting in an auditorium and you have like the girl which you're like, you have a crush on, or you guys are friends or whatever, and I just like to test the waters. You think like this was a move I thought like worked, and it's just like, let me just use my knee to like touch your knee. How do they react?
Yes.
That's so funny.
That was like,
That was the trick.
That was-
I do know this trick for sure.
Unfortunately, I was in theater for like most of my life, so all of my social circles were already just super touchy. So it didn't matter, dude. I was like playing games with my friends where you try to poke them in their belly button, like when they're not.
God.
Yeah, dude, it was like nothing. You gotta take bigger steps.
Yeah,
touches don't
take
work.
A bigger, they're like poking in the belly button. That's not romantic because that's platonic.
It's the softer steps, like when you're just like it's the knee.
So yeah,
It's the
or
knee
like
step.
poking them in like the nose or something. Like,
like a boot.
Like pick.
A little boop on the nose, or in the nose. Wait,
I was gonna say you picking their nose, and then you're just like, no, poke a boob,
no.
yeah, poke a boob.
No, I said boob.
She said
Oh,
with
boob.
a
I was like, yeah. I was like, Kimmy, that's a jump. Just poke their
it
boob.
is, yeah.
I've been to you.
Oh my
Poking-
God.
7 faster. You said poking a nose, so I went boop.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Went
Yeah.
boobs.
Okay, okay.
Speaking of communication,
Yeah. Wow.
I just booped your boob. I wish I would have tried that move. Oh, why didn't I try that? That would have definitely worked.
So much.
School dad. Poking boobs.
Oh my
Ugh.
Some crazy things you do for love.
God. Yeah.
Crazy, stupid love.
Yep.
Crazy, stupid love.
Poking the boob definitely would have been stupid.
That, yeah.
And
maybe,
crazy.
Maybe even crazy. Love? Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Mm.
I'll be honest.
Don't know if that's love.
Maybe if there's the mutual reciprocation. Anyway.
Just
all
tying it all back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just, yeah.
Our fourth and I believe final kind of main theme that we highlighted. Everyone, compose yourself. Yes, we're ready. Dan, do you need a minute?
One second.
Okay.
You guys you can't see but the physical movement Kimmy did in terms of just like the straightest finger I've ever seen. Just like come out and just do like you're pushing a button motion.
Poking a boob is a very straight thing to do, I guess, so it makes sense.
Anyway, you all can't see that, and that's
you're gonna
missing
have
out.
to use your imagination.
Yeah.
But our fourth main theme is kind of this idea of changing yourself doesn't necessarily fix things. We get this kind of quite literally with our main boy Cal, where he literally gets his rom-com makeover scene. He learns a whole new way of talking to people. He changes so much, and it doesn't really lead him anywhere. If anything, it leads him further away from the answer. And then we kind of see, I think, smaller bits of this throughout the other characters. Not as literally, you know.
Yeah, it was interesting to me. I had it down that, like, to me, Jacob and Cal do opposite arcs. But kind of still come to the same result in the way of Cal had to become Jacob to realize how wrong that was in terms of what he was trying to do. Yeah. And Jacob became Cal, or not the boring way in the beginning, but in the aspect of like, I'm not trying to just woo this woman to woo her, you know. Like Jacob actually becomes to care about her.
Yeah. And then I think you also see it in the babysitter too. Like she tries to be older.
Exactly.
Unquote.
Which is interesting, right? The babysitter's trying to be older because she is in love, unquote, quote unquote love with Cal. And then you have literally the son who's in love with the babysitter, and he wants to be older as well. Yeah. So you have both of those trying to be older into like the tier up, I guess, of people. Which from again, the whole thing, it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
0%.
Right. Mm-hmm. Trying to be someone you're not doesn't work in the long run.
Yeah, that would be like a crazy stupid thing to do.
Yeah. End credits.
Anyway.
It would have been interesting if they had worked the actual title into it. Because, like, you know, you watch, like, YouTube videos that, like, do things and it's like...
roll credits?
Yeah, exactly. You hear the title and they're like, roll credits.
Yep.
And I was like, I never thought about it like that. If they had worked in the line, crazy stupid things we do for love. Or
I bet
whatever.
you it was in the original script and someone went, no, incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his final big speech, that would have been like the time to be like, I did crazy stupid things.
Well, he kind of says it.
Yeah,
But not with those words.
That's what someone probably came in with the red pen and was like, gotta read.
Yeah, the main point of that was like, or the main point of that speech was, fight for your soulmate.
Yeah.
Which we touched on.
For sure.
Which that leads into you do crazy stupid things when you're trying to fight for your soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the speech that he gives at the end and how, like, he kind of hinted at the crazy stupid love, but the other thing is, like, a big speech at the end of a rom-com feels like a huge cliche.
Yeah.
And that was, like, something I felt like they did the rom-com cliches.
No, 100%. This, like with any rom-com, obviously we had to hit on any cliches that felt necessary to throw in there. So we've got a couple of big ones, I feel like. The big speech at the end, that's a huge cliche.
Yep.
We've talked a little bit about how we had the makeover montage.
Amazing.
Obviously.
Which kind of happened twice, but in two
Yes.
different ways.
I actually wrote down, like, initially it was like the classic makeover montage. Funnily enough, usually the makeover montage is more of something we see for the female lead, so it was kind of fun to first see that a little subverted because it was like the male lead is getting the makeover. But then we kind of got like the makeover reversal because then we get the scene with Jacob where he's like actually talking about himself and it's like, oh, this is kind of like the flip side of he's the one who really needed the makeover.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun.
One thing that I felt like we didn't get though in the cliche makeover with Cal is that we didn't get him doing a fitting room. Like
I
where
know.
The classic fitting
That's
room
the
where you
best
walk out and you're like,
part.
what is this? Wait, well he does put on the jacket though.
We did get that scene where
Yeah.
Jacob's talking to the like woman
Yeah,
helping
he
them.
does. Oh, we do get it.
So
but it
when
wasn't the montage.
It's not the
Yeah.
classic montage.
But they
It's-
still did it.
It was still there.
I was like, oh yeah, you're right, because it's the whole like, oh yeah, you want whatever his line is.
and then he
too.
steps on. He's like, "That worked."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. We did get the fitting room shot.
Yeah, but we didn't get the classic like show it and then it pans to someone going
Yeah,
no, show pans to someone going yes, but the person in it goes no.
Yeah.
I think they
The different
switched that for
outfits.
just the slap.
Exactly.
I think it was the no was the slap.
Yeah, like it's like the classic like you come for the rom-com but you stay for Steve Carell getting slapped.
Of course.
Of course. And then thus staying for Ryan Gosling getting
Yeah.
slapped.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah,
end.
Of
which again
course.
another payoff.
People getting slapped is kind of funny.
Yes.
Yeah, in a nice affirmation way.
A nice affirmative slap.
Boom, boom, boom.
You know how it
A
is.
slap of love.
A slap of love.
Oh, but cliches too. My favorite cliche was this: is the rain.
Yes, rain at a character's lowest moment.
I'm a rain girl.
Yeah.
Rain in movies, chef's kiss.
I thought while we were watching it, it was very funny for me because he's out there, it's his lowest moment, the rain starts, I verbally was like, of course, and then Steve Carell in the movie goes, this is such a cliche, and in my head I was like, damn, he got me there.
It's so good.
He's so right.
That was the one thing was like all these cliches happen
Mhm.
and right it's like we say like okay it's okay because it is a rom-com but then I'm also like you want to see sometimes something different than these cliches in these things like something new at least for me sometimes
Yeah.
and then it's like I'm like is it new when they're like doing that thing of calling out the cliche which happened multiple times
That, I feel like that's honestly, okay. That's gotten, I feel like, a lot more traction these days because I watch a lot of Korean dramas, and I remember when I first started watching them, the cliches were there and they were just there, and these days it's like I feel like I can't watch one without somebody being like, of course, like, what is this, a drama?
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I know.
it's like the closest to fourth wall breaking
yeah.
You can
without
It's
without looking at the camera
rom-com fourth wall break.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
But I think this movie
Mhm.
had cliche moments that were cliches, but you accepted them because they did it differently.
That's fair.
Like, we literally have Emma Stone's character, Hannah, like, bring up this PG-13 moment thing that, like, hey, if this was a PG-13 moment, I would get drunk. I would fall asleep and you would put a blanket over me. That is such a, if you watch, like, any rom-coms, it's like Disney
Yeah.
Channel or something. Like,
That's
of course,
it's a classic.
yeah, it's gonna happen.
Disney Channel.
Maybe a step above Disney
Step above.
Channel. They're drinking appy juice.
Take back my words, but
Sorry,
no, you're good.
I just thought about Shark Boy and Lava Girl. just being like,
She gets super
That would have been a
drunk.
very different movie.
is that a rom-com?
But
Anyway.
nonetheless, they go through that. She says that, and they have this whole night, and then he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she tucks him in and gives him a little kiss. I think, like, they call that the cliche, which is, like, a cliche thing to do now.
It's honestly now there's a cliche of
Yeah.
calling out the cliche, which
Right,
is so
we literally
funny.
are
I love that.
subverting or meta, whatever you want to call
This
it.
is meta
Yeah,
cliches.
yeah, exactly. We're to the point it's cliche to call out cliches.
Yes.
Because this movie came out
I love
11
that.
years ago at this
I
point.
Yeah.
can't wait until we get to the next step where it's cliche to, like, the cliche, someone calls out a cliche and you're like, that's such a cliche, and now we're at the third level. Oh, wow. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, but it was
Movie
like,
directors, listen.
She said PG-13.
Yes.
And literally when she said that, I go, this movie is PG-13.
That's what I was thinking
And
too.
the only reason that resonates is because of the movie and all the sex that these characters, like with all the montage we have of you want to come home, or with Cal and Jacob's character, and then obviously it's PG-13, so we never see anything
Yeah.
of any version of sex.
Yeah.
But 100% we're alluding to it in terms of like
Not even
A lot-
alluding. He does say it like, I slept with 9
no,
people.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
We're talking about it, but we're never seeing it.
right,
Yeah.
which is like the most PG-13 thing you can
Yeah.
do. Like even the raunchy PG-13 movies, you'll get like butt or
Yeah.
like you get that classic butt
Just a
shot.
little, like,
Yeah.
make
Or
out
like
scene.
a hinting at a boob shot,
Ooh,
Yeah.
right?
ooh, hint
Which
of
is like
boob.
whoa. But
Don't
those are like
poke
the
it.
those
That's like
are
a
the
perfume
raunchy.
name. Hint
Those
of
are the
boob.
raunchy PG-13s. Those are the ones
Yeah.
that'll say like the F word, like
Yeah.
they'll say the F word.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's too far.
Can't do it.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
were like inching on that, like
Yeah.
when it was Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, where it's like doing the pan over Ryan's
Yeah.
body, and then Emma just starts talking about it and like goes back.
Yes,
to her.
I did love how
Well-
they did that. I noticed that.
Well, I was gonna say that like is it speaking of like the cliches and the
Mhm.
aspect of like is it subverting it where it's like she's objectifying in that moment like his body. Granted, it's done for comedy in that way of like
Yeah.
she's like, oh my gosh, like it's just ridiculous, like
Yeah.
and it's almost like this isn't real. And it's like, haha, it's a movie, it's rom-com. But I was also just like, my brain always goes to like, if it's the opposite way,
Yeah.
would it have worked if we did the same thing towards Emma Stone's character, Hannah?
I think it would have worked if it was the same way this movie did it, which was like there was the objectifying his body, yes, but they never had sex that night.
Correct.
It was just all communication. It was just cute moment times.
Yeah.
So if that like,
Yeah, the massage chair.
yeah,
I do want to say, because I feel like this has come up a couple of times within our talk about cliches, this kind of idea of like, is the cliche done well? Is it good or not? And I'll die defending this, love cliches.
Yes.
I don't care if they're done well. I don't care if they're done bad. I don't care if they're subverted. They are cliches for a goddamn reason. I don't think that a movie ever has to like prove that it is worthy of a cliche. We use them because they work, baby.
They
like
could.
they work.
Yeah, I mean,
I love to see like sometimes I'll never not get excited when I'm kind of like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. This is the cliche. Of course, the rain. I love cliches. I'm a big fan. And I just wanted to let everybody know that. I just wanted to announce that.
announce it to the world.
Please.
I think I'm in the same. I love cliches.
I love them.
Love cliches. Like I'm a huge book reader too, and you get a lot of
Mhm.
book tropes.
Yeah.
People like to call them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it too. I just think from Dan and I are like come more film backgrounds. You're
That's
just like
fair.
as writing scripts and like making movies. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're like, should we do this?
Yeah.
No.
Should we have this in?
But I think it's funny for me because like obviously I work on films, and it's funny enough to be like when you write you talk about like I'm a filmmaker and everyone's like oh so you like watch whether it's like only Oscar noms or like these independent movies, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also need these like heavily rom-coms that I watch as a like hopeless romantic for myself in terms of like I'll watch Notebook. I'll watch like even though that's probably more of a like drama thing, but it's still like it's the it's the romance that you feel is like this right magical, right?
Yeah.
I mean it's we talk about it's a rom-com or this hopeless romantic aspect.
I think the problem is with like cliches. I say in air quotes.
Yeah.
That like society thinks movies with cliches are like not as sophisticated.
This is true. it's bad and it's a problem.
Yeah, but they're not. Like, this movie is one of my favorite movies. It's so good. Like, a movie doesn't have to be good because you break boundaries.
Yeah.
And you...
Well, yeah. This is actually a good point that I've talked with Jaren before about this idea that oftentimes comedy, but especially romantic comedy, media that is traditionally seen as made for women is always belittled.
Yeah.
And so cliches, I mean, many of the cliches that we are talking about, many cliches in general, romance and cliches kind of go so hand in hand that, of course, as a society, people are going to be like, oh, that's bad. That's nothing new, you know? And I think it is kind of fun to see the new ways that people can do cliches. I think people are always doing cliches in new ways. Even when it seems like, oh, I've seen this before, there's still usually going to be some nuance there. As long as, you know, whoever wrote the script had their heart in it. I think there will always be something cool and fun to find about it. But yeah, unfortunately, I know that I'm probably a bit of the vocal minority in my absolute adoration of cliches, but yeah, it's kind of like a bigger thing than just like whether or not this is good. There's also that issue of they are just belittled because they're seen as, you know, it's like the whole chick flick thing. It's like, oh, that's a chick flick. It's not good. It's like, well, why are you saying that? Think about it.
Or I said like guilty pleasure movies.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure movies. Even though like I don't like to use that term, but I'm using it now.
Yeah.
They're still good. Like, people like to watch them over and over. Like, I like to watch Crazy Stupid Love because it makes me just feel good. I don't have to learn you learn a lesson, but I don't have to learn like this deep, heartfelt thing and like an Oscar-worthy...
It's not a character
It's the
study.
same as like media made for kids. How people will always belittle that because it's made for children, and it's like, but How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is one of the best trilogies that exists ever. I just want everyone to
also Avatar: The Last
Airbender.
Oh yeah, I had a fun time. It was this movie called, I think it was like Chicken Hair.
Oh,
It's like a movie. It's a movie on Netflix, and it's literally it's the fish out of water of like this rabbit finds this character that's part chicken, part hair.
Oh,
he's hair and he has chicken legs.
Oh.
And like being like, but the jokes in this movie, I was
oh yeah.
we threw it on, I think, to watch with like, I don't even know, I think it was like watch with my nephew, you know, but he's only like 2. But anyway, talking about media is just like, I had a good time watching that movie.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm just talking like everything's subjective. Like any movie that comes out is gonna have people that like it and people that don't. And there's like, you're talking about, even if it's, the reason I'm talking about this kids movie and you were talking about children media and the way we look at things is because of just how all media is subjective, especially films and art, TV shows.
Yeah.
Is everyone's going to view it differently, which is amazing because people will be moved by it differently. So even that, like, Kimmy, you were talking about, like, you were like, I don't like to say, like, the guilty pleasures. But it's more just, like, people have films they like and films they don't. Just because, like I said, just because I'm a filmmaker and people might be like, oh, so you might view films like this way or come down. I'm like, no, I love rom-coms just as much. Like, I love having that. I'm going to sit down and just watch this movie.
Well, I will say a great note on, like, movies that are, like, Oscar-worthy. And, like, I hate Dune. I hate it.
Oh my god. I haven't even seen it.
I hate it with a burning passion. But you know what I love? Crazy Stupid Love.
That's true. You know, listen, I hate The Kissing Booth 1 with a burning passion. But The Kissing Booth 3, pretty good.
Whoa.
It was somehow the trajectory of that movies, they got like, I mean, it was still stupid. It was so stupid, but it was like the kind of stupid that I love. Whereas the first one was the exact kind of stupid that I hate.
Well,
I've never hated a movie until that first one.
I think we might be in disagreement. Like,
I had a good time. I'll say it here. I'll say it here right now.
The third one.
The third, it was kind of funny.
I like the second one.
I like wasn't even that mad, you know.
Kissing Booth is a whole nother tale.
Yeah.
It's like
don't you worry. We'll get into that one at a later date.
I should make you watch.
I have watched. I've seen trailer or like previews of these movies.
Of course.
No.
I have not watched them. So it would be very interesting, I guess, to hear my take maybe.
Oh, please.
Anyway, no spoilers.
No. If we're all talking about movies that were like, oh, like people would definitely be like, that's a dumb or like a bad movie or whatever. Like that, not even bad, but I'm saying, like people might view it differently. Is like I grew up nostalgia based on The Master of Disguise, which you guys I don't know if you've
I don't
seen
even
that.
know what
I know
That's what I'm
that.
saying. Yeah, it's a movie with Dana Carvey.
Who?
No. He's Wayne's World with Mike Myers. Do you know that? Okay.
I
Oh.
shook my head, but that was
Oh,
enough.
no. I shook my head. That is a no from me. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, that movie's one of the funniest beats they come back to, and I say this as like it's funny. I think it's funny because of like the so bad dumb things they do in the movie.
Mhm.
Is the villain laughs so hard that he farts,
Oh.
and
So you saw yourself in him.
I was gonna say that's the origin story of Dan's humor.
Yeah. No, but like it gets to the point of like if they did it once, you'd be like, all right, this is stupid. But they're like, we don't care. We're living with this bit. Every
Oh.
time he laughs, do the evil villain laugh, which is like classic.
I am of the firm belief that bits beaten into the ground are the best.
Yeah, like so no one like probably very minimal people would love this movie on like it's definitely not done well. Like
It's fair.
but in terms of like Dana Carvey literally just said he made it for his kids,
Mhm.
and you see that.
Yeah.
And the villain is played by the guy that played Brett Spiner, who played Data from Star Trek Next Generation.
Who?
So your partner would like that, or know who that is.
My boyfriend likes Star Trek.
Yeah, that's a good note to add.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
jumping.
very important context.
Yeah.
Anyway, that movie. Every movie is subjective.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
just nostalgia based watch for me. So everyone can watch whatever kind of movie they love that makes them feel a certain type
Unless
of way.
it's The Kissing Booth. I have beef with you. Only the first one, though. The
It's-
other two I didn't have beef with, but the
Yeah,
first
so
one.
liking a movie is never about does it have cliches
Yes.
or is it Oscar worthy or is it a character study. It's more just like when I watch it, do I feel happy? And
Yeah.
when I watch
Did
Crazy
I?
Stupid,
Yeah.
when I watch Crazy Stupid Love, I'm happy.
My firm scale of is it a movie good or not is did I have a good time? Good.
Yeah.
It's
We're
good.
Yeah, like when I go into conversations, I love talking about movies and
Yeah.
film. But my goal when I go into these conversations is not to change your mind
Yeah.
on a
Yeah,
movie.
that's a good.
Oh.
I'm not going in being like, why don't you like this movie?
Yeah.
Right? I just like to go in and being like, oh, let's talk about it. Because there's things like you guys have brought up that I didn't notice in this movie.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it. And that's what I love in terms of this. And so that's why I love that movies or TV shows are so
Yeah.
subjective, because you get this.
Yeah.
But, you have people that are like, you don't like it? And it's like...
Oh, if people yelled at me about Dune, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's it.
Sorry, I don't
So
like.
fine.
Why? Are you crazy? What? I can't believe you what?
Yeah.
And it's like...
Zendaya was only in it for 5 minutes. I'm upset.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I believe, obviously, you two are movie boys, more movie-er than me.
We dabble.
They
Yeah.
dabble, yeah. Well, I'd love to know some of the thoughts that you had on maybe some of the more like film-specific choices, like shots, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything y'all wanted to bring up that I might have missed?
No, the one thing that was right off the bat, the opening of the movie,
Mhm.
is them showing couples at a restaurant on dates playing footsie.
Yeah.
And being like rubbing the leg.
Mhm.
If you couldn't see, I'm like using my hands to
He is. He's
to be the
miming right
feet.
now
Rub
what it
feet.
looks like. You're gonna have to either watch the movie or imagine it.
Yeah. So they do that like the montage 3 times, and then we get to the main couple,
Mhm.
and it's the classic. The feet aren't moving; they're
Yeah.
very stationary.
Yeah.
And they also have, how can we make Carell look boring and like unattractive?
Which is giving
Which
him
is-
the Spider-Man 3 Venom haircut. That's how they did it.
Well, he also kind of had the polo that's kind of matching the shirt that Spider-Man 3 Sandman wore a little bit. Like there is that like yellow-green.
Wow, they went full Spider-Man.
And then,
Wow.
and also like any classic, how do we make someone look unattractive or like a dad or like a parent?
Like Tobey
we give
Maguire.
them sneakers.
New Balance. We have them wear New Balance
Damn.
shoes.
Yes.
And also like let's have the actor slouch a little bit when he's the boring version of himself.
Yes.
And also wear a fat tie,
Yeah.
not a slim tie, and the jacket.
And he looked down a lot too. I noticed.
Yeah.
When he gets the confidence later in the movie,
body language is
back.
so important.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, that was the opening. They established feet first, and I thought it was interesting that when we also get introduced to Jacob involving himself into the plot, because they don't go to really any close-ups of him. We do have that he's they put all these extras in front of this wide shot, and it's him in this top right corner that you kind of obscured a little bit. And then when he moves into the table to Hannah and her friend Liz, they start on the feet as well, which I thought was just interesting of being like, let's show his this person definitely not flirting, this person definitely not moving at all in terms of the footsie love that we were showing and the flirtatiousness, and also New Balance shoes.
Yeah.
And then we go foot shot of Jacob, and he's walking to flirt.
And fancy shoes.
And fancy shoes.
And fancy shoes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I was just like, that felt like a choice.
Yeah,
on purpose
absolutely.
choice.
Wardrobe's a huge
Oh no,
thing
for
in
sure.
movies.
But I thought that was the way they decided to introduce
the characters.
Our two, what I think is the two main characters.
And maybe one of the cameramen liked feet. We don't know.
Yeah.
Also, that could be.
It was
Absolutely.
Quentin Tarantino's son.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino's son is he's like his dad, but he likes his feet with shoes on.
Okay. No, yeah, fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's got their preferences, you know?
One of my favorite things in this movie and other movies is I love mirroring.
Oh.
So, we see it later in the movie where Jacob are more sultry character who's getting with women. When he's finally happy, his space at the bar, the seat he is sitting in, is no longer taken. We see it literally empty. And then Steve Carell's character, who's now in that character's vision, is sitting in that chair. And then across the way in the bar where Steve Carell used to sit at the bar is now a character that looks like another Steve Carell,
right before the
he
hasn't been montaged.
Yes. Literally, exactly. So I love that in films where you see a character's growth and when they take someone else's position, which wardrobe is a huge thing. You see Steve Carell become more like Ryan Gosling characters, Jacob. Their wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
So I just I like mirroring. It's fun to see that.
Well, you talk about that mirroring.
Yeah.
Mirroring. And there's the part where we talk about wardrobe. So Steve Carell's wearing the nice suits now and the vest that Jacob introduced him to.
Yes.
Well, now when he's with...
I will say, the initial outfit that they had, after all the makeover, they were and then here's his outfit, and would you sleep with him? I was like, nah.
It was like a sweater jacket.
What is he wearing?
The four layers that they wrote as a comedy bit, I was like, that would be me. I'd be like, this is not... I'm wearing... It's like a blazer vest.
That was one of those...
It was a blazer jacket with a blazer vest with then a tie.
Yeah.
With it was one of those ones where it's a higher neck but it unzips.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not all the way. That's why I wouldn't wear that. That would be the top. I wouldn't wear a blazer over that.
He got better. He had better
Yes.
later.
He definitely had good outfits after that, but that one I was like, that's the one? That's the final makeover look? Nah.
This is not it.
Yeah. I was like, no.
But please.
No, yeah. So the wardrobe, but when you see him, especially when they're in I think it was they were in the wine shop or in the, whatever, he was with Hannah.
Yes.
Yeah, in the wine. It was
and
the wine
now he's wearing a polo. Short sleeve polo.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice
And
that.
him being more similar fashion of what Steve Carell had in terms of a polo.
I didn't
notice that either.
That might not have been on purpose,
Yeah.
but I just think it was funny enough to be he's not wearing a suit anymore when he's with Hannah.
Yeah.
Also, didn't notice that, but I noticed he also, when he starts falling for Hannah, he's dressed down. I do in quotes, air quotes.
Yeah.
He's taken off his shirt. He just his pants off. It's he's stripped the confidence.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could take it a step further and being him not having the shirt on almost is a sign.
Right, we talk about peeling layers, right? She asked him to take his shirt off.
Yeah.
And he asked if he can put it back on.
Yeah!
Oh my god, the revelation.
My god. Wow, I'm a very, very big fan of showing character changes through clothing.
Yes.
I think that's so every time I'm like, ah!
Yeah, I love it, especially when it's colors too, when colors.
Yes.
But I don't think we I might have to watch it back to like
Yeah.
really pinpoint that. I don't
Yeah.
think any colors changed, but
All right, round 2. Let's
round
go.
2 colors only.
No, yeah, the palette, like usually you would see certain colors used. There wasn't anything that like
there was a lot
stood
of grays
out. Yeah,
in
Yes.
this wardrobe. I saw.
Yeah.
like this kind of thing, like the cinematography and the choice of lighting.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that like caught my eye or stood out in
Fair.
terms of shots. There was a little one shot, and I'm a one shot fiend.
Yes,
if
we
it's
know.
done, if it's done correctly.
Correctly.
I will say there is right. People get mad about people that love one shots because it's like they just want a one shot
Yeah.
to have a one shot.
I do actually
And I'm
really like one shots, and I feel like that's because
No.
of you.
They're so
Anytime
good.
I see one, I'm like, oh, I got
Yeah.
one shot.
I know it definitely needs to be used correctly
Yeah.
and for a reason. You're not just doing it to do it. That
Yeah.
makes me upset when I see
Yes.
that. Like,
Yeah.
what did this do for the film?
Or I think maybe, if anything, I think back to filming a short film for Kimmy, and we like the takes we had to go through to get the one shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
I'm just like, damn, I bet it took them so long to get.
Well, I think non-film people. Sometimes people get mad when they find out there's an edit in a one shot.
I'm just like,
It's like, but the amount of time even to just edit that
Yeah.
is like in this movie we get
You've got to get that like exact.
yeah, in this movie we get this like moment where he's in Steve Carell's character Cal is like in the bar and he's with different ladies in different outfits.
Yes. Oh my god, that was
But
so cool.
It looks like a one shot, but
Yeah.
you know
It had to be
since
edited.
they're switching outfits and switching
Yeah.
girls and
Yeah.
switching positions, it's not like there's editing between. And some people could get mad, and be like, they should have shot it in one take. It's like,
Yeah,
how?
yeah.
Please explain to me how
Would you
would
like
have done that.
to?
well, would you have liked to see a one shot with them going Ryan Gosling in terms of in the locker room naked and then also being in the same position in camera frame
Oh, great.
now in the sauna?
Oh
Would,
yeah,
would you
that
have rather
was
that been a one
that
shot?
was really funny.
I would have wanted to watch the backside of Ryan Gosling walking to the sauna.
fair.
Right? That's what
Yeah.
I said. No butt shot.
No
No.
butt shot. We only got side
We
cheek.
got-
We
we
didn't
got-
get full butt.
We got abs.
We got like a little side cheekage, but we never got full butt.
No boobs.
No boobs. No boobs.
No boob
We
pole.
got,
No
we got the
boob.
classic.
Well, it was PG-13. Can't have boobs.
Classic using a person to block a genitalia.
Yes.
Yes. Which love it.
Yeah.
So we all know that. Never mind.
Speaking
I
of,
was gonna be like size comparison. Like Ryan Gosling's is the size of Steve Carell's
Well,
body.
moving on.
Speaking of, I did want to say I wanted to take a little bit of time. I know that this is like a favorite movie for the two of you, and I also, upon first watching it, had certain moments that I really, really liked. So I'd love to ask if there are any favorite moments that we haven't gotten a chance to highlight that you wanted to.
I have two.
Ooh.
There was one I like similarities
Yes.
or opposition of stuff, and this kind of is like in the way of we were talking about like filmmaking, but the ways they would do the subverting of power.
Oh.
Yes.
So like when Jacob first meets Hannah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's shot like from her, like, you know, we know the classic, like if you shoot from a low angle, you're usually the person you're shooting, you're usually giving them the power in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him, he's walking up trying to flirt, trying to
Yeah.
woo her, and she's adamantly saying no, which I think kind of separates in the way of when she's when she keeps her stance on saying no and not giving him or agreeing to the power, he then comes down to her level,
Mm-hmm.
and they're now sitting evenly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and then they're on the same page. Like he knows he can't do that, what he usually does for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one, but then to mirror that in the way he met Cal, and that it's opposite, where it's him telling Cal to come over,
Yes.
not Cal coming to him or him going to Cal, and then being the same thing of now it's him sitting down and we're shooting it of that it's like Cal, right? The angle would be that Cal has the power, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's Jacob still has the power and he's just sitting in his chair.
Because
Yeah.
agreed.
And that was just a mirror, and then finally them coming down to being on the same level.
Yeah.
And then, like, the movie points it out, too, when we get Robbie, the kid.
Oh, I love that
Yes,
so
and that was the
much.
next
Yes,
one.
Putting
like-
putting the chair up to be like, listen here.
Yeah. To Kevin Bacon's character, which is David, who is the man the mom cheats on.
Yes.
So, like, yeah, him
Or
raising
cheats
his-
with.
Cheats with,
Yeah.
whatever it is. when he scoots up, oh, so good.
Yeah.
One of the ones that really stuck with me was right before the rain kicks in, after the whole parent teacher conference, when the what was the wife's name? Emily, yes. When Emily goes to storm off, before she does, she says, "Who are you?" And then after she's out of earshot, Steve Carell goes, "I'm your soulmate." And I was like, oh
Yes.
no. That hit me.
I would say my favorite scene was I have two, but one of my first ones is following that is just the school scene when they're sitting apart waiting for the teacher conference.
I did really love that.
Like
that show
the visual
of like
cue of that, yeah.
Yes. And like they're talking of just like their past and like where did we go wrong thing. Like I think that scene just emotionally hits really hard.
Yeah.
And then the whole soulmate thing when she walks off. It hits.
Hit me.
Hits. And then my other favorite scene is the dirty dancing scene.
Oh, that was really
Which
funny.
I'm surprised we even haven't like touched on it yet.
That was really funny.
Like it's so cute. I just love Emma Stone is one of my favorite actresses. We'll just say that. A little biased. So her just like being goofy and being like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And he's just like, come on. You can do it. Like, it's great.
So there's an interview of her and Ryan talking about that scene and her having a fear.
Oh my god.
She's like, I didn't know I had a fear of being lifted above someone's head. And so she's like, Ryan, how did I react when that happened? And he's like, the best way would be like if a cat like all of a sudden started clawing at me.
Oh no.
That's so funny.
To get down and being attacked, basically.
Well, the scene was great.
No, yeah, it's funny that it's like there was probably really like it could be her reaction. I mean, yes, she's acting, which I think the I've always loved Emma Stone's ability of being able to convey everything from her face, not even saying a line.
I wrote down at one point like this nervousness that she was portraying like hit me so hard, and I think it's just because she was doing such a good job of like portraying being very nervous about the situation. I was like, oh my god, I feel this on like a spiritual level.
Yeah, I mean the cast in this is 11 years ago, and like the star-studded cast in this of just the ability, like we're having scenes like that you get these actors that are conveying something entirely different from just their facial reactions. The pilot conversation, the conversation where they talk about the pilot light. Yeah. And I'm like, Steve Carell's face is saying everything in terms of like what he's actually
phone
meaning.
Call,
And then anytime Ryan Gosling is just straight up reacting to something of just being like, huh? Oh, like what?
That's a great thing because I think GIF culture is like a huge like pinpoint of great reactions. There is a GIF from this movie that people might know if you're listening to this podcast. That like when the makeover scene when Ryan Gosling like does a like look up and down. That is a popular GIF I've seen quite often. Yeah,
there's the one of Steve Carell when he's like flirting and he does the like he puts his finger out with a drink. Yeah, I'm like I've seen that plenty of times. Yeah, definitely. So or Ryan Gosling when after the fight scene, like puts his hands down like that, or he's laughing. Yeah, I'm like definitely seen those as memes or gifs. But yeah, I mean you got like even supporting roles like these small roles. You have Marissa Tomei, Spider-Man's aunt playing this like 8th grade teacher that
what a crazy like oh my god Aunt May, what are you doing here?
Kevin Bacon
you have Kevin Bacon in a supporting role as David Lindhagen Hagen. And then you have
Josh Groban.
You have Josh Groban.
Love him.
In a who's the other thing? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Joey King.
Yeah, well, Joey King before she
was popular.
The kissing booth star herself.
Yeah. Sorry to keep bringing it up.
I would like to talk about I know we kind of briefly talked about, but just the insanity of the through line of all these things culminating in the fight at the end. I'm only bringing up the fight again at the very end, which to me is like probably the best part of the film personally.
God, it was really good.
Writing-wise, it's amazing.
Yeah, just to talk about all the through lines that had to culminate for that to happen. Yeah. To get a bit of stay away from my daughter. You stay away from my daughter. Yeah. And then my favorite part is just David Lindhagen Hagen showing up, and obviously we know throughout the film that Carell has like talked about his wife sleeping with David Lindhagen
Hagen.
throughout the film, and so everybody knows this. Jacob knows this,
Mm-hmm.
and for him to then meet him
Yeah.
and just being like, even though Cal is mad at Jacob,
Yeah.
and him just being like, oh, you're David, and taking his ring off and touching
Oh.
him.
Hot.
Just being like friendship. The friendship
Friendship.
I would love to have is that
Yeah.
even if I'm mad at you,
Yeah.
that you would still punch the guy that slept with my wife.
Yeah. I really, really liked that moment.
Yeah. I think in real life that would happen too.
Yeah.
If there was a random fight that happened that occurred like
Yeah.
this.
So
If the cheater came in.
Yeah.
Are you that? Are one of you that for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You'll punch the person that sleeps with my
100%.
partner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll
I don't
take
know.
my
I don't
ring
know how
off.
strong my punch is, but I could like run at him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kick.
Just I want to make a point. If I take off my ring and punch a man, you cannot fall in love with me. It's very hot.
That's fair. That's totally understandable.
Yeah. Oh no. The minute you said that when we got that shot of the slow motion pizza eating shot
Oh,
of Ryan, and you were
yeah.
like, "That's Logan."
Yeah.
That's my boyfriend.
I was like, "That's."
Well,
you did. You were like, "That's
There's
like
a,
that."
re-
I was
there's
like,
a
that.
reason
Why does that
I'm in
make so
love
much
with
sense?
your
Yes.
with your boyfriend.
I have shown
Yeah.
my boyfriend Logan this movie, and the second Ryan Gosling came up in the slow-mo pizza eating scene, I was like, that is you, and he agreed. He's like, yes.
Oh, shit, that is me.
And when we say that, we mean like in the outfits as well. Like I've seen.
Are you saying my boyfriend is not as hot as Ryan Gosling?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, good.
I'm saying in the outfits, he's even wearing the exact outfits.
Yes.
Of like the slim pants, the shoes, the nice slim, nice feeling polo shirts.
Yes.
We know you're in love with Logan.
Yes. The man is a demigod.
Not a god.
I can't say
A
god
dem-
because he is human.
Is he?
I mean, if I have a chance.
Wow.
You don't, so.
Ooh.
It's not gonna happen.
I have to bring him down a little bit. All
fair.
right.
It's not gonna happen.
I have to make it achievable.
Well, I'd love to. I feel like at this point we've really touched on a lot of different things, but I'd love to know your final thoughts, I guess, on this discussion, on this movie. Any lasting words you'd like to leave the listeners, my lovely listeners, with?
Yeah, we kind of talked about it, obviously throughout this whole conversation.
Yeah.
But it was all the setups and payoffs was like
Agreed.
Yeah.
This
was like a really good stand-up set, you know.
Yeah. Like everything from Kimmy talked about in terms of like the slapping.
Yes.
Of like during this the montage is
Yeah.
Jacob's character slapping Cal.
Yep.
Or Jacob, Ryan Gosling's character. slapping
Jacob's character, Ryan Gosling.
Cal, Carell, Steve. Anyway, slapping, and then at the very end, literally doing the callback of then
He
Carell's
gets to
character
slap him
slapping
now, yeah.
Jacob.
Yes.
But they did that multiple times of payoffs. Whether it was the finding the soulmates thing, like you have that conversation and then them talking about it, and that's the payoff there. And it happened multiple times throughout the film. I was like, and that's another payoff to a setup. So that was definitely like something that it was just really, I don't know how to say, like heartwarming in that way of like, it's just good when you see things set up and they get paid off.
Yes.
Like whether it's action, romance, whatever type of film you're watching, love to see it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think my final thoughts on this film is that I love media about love.
Yeah.
I just love love. I like the idea of soulmates, and I think the theme of like fighting for soulmates is something that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
So that's why I just love this film so much. And the actors have so much chemistry. It just works magically. And then I think it's kind of like a masterclass in like writing setups and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you want to write a good twist, honestly, this is actually a good movie to like look at.
Yes.
Just because like foreshadowing is a big thing for setups, and they did it. Like mentioning the Nana and like just little things of like, oh, my daughter. Like we don't know till the very end when it happens, and it's like, oh, it's amazing. So just like watching this movie and like hearing the subtle like themes and stuff throughout the writing is just amazing.
Yeah. I gotta say, one of my favorite things I think about this movie, on top of like the set-offs and the payoffs, but since we were talking about writing, I'm a really big fan of dialogue. It's my favorite kind of thing to write. Y'all also listeners know I'm a linguist. And the idea of dialogue that not only like carries the plot itself well, but also sounds natural while kind of like not too natural to the point. Because if you ever listen to people talking naturally, sometimes it's like it's a bit much for like storytelling in that way. And I really, really love the way that everybody like spoke, like whoever wrote the dialogue, and of course props to the actors for their choices in delivery. It came across really, really well. It just sounded really good. Like I believed them when they were saying things, and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
It's a believable movie.
Yeah,
Like
even though it's insane,
Yes.
it's a believable movie.
Yeah, I think the strengths were definitely like the writing and the acting.
Yeah.
And the way, even if the writing might have felt cliche at times or felt rom-com-y, you have these actors, which we all know are talented, lifting the writing up a little bit. Those are definitely the strengths for sure that I think carry the film in that way. You know, I already kind of hinted at the cinematography. The choices they make, I think there's some cool choices in terms of like framing and composition. There's not, like I said, the weakest is probably if you're going in for like a specific look or something like that. Like there's nothing that really stands out in that way. But it doesn't need to, obviously. Like this film is not trying to achieve that. So I think it sets out what it tries to do.
Yeah. Accomplishes the goal.
And I highly recommend it to everyone.
Yes, I have to agree with that. If I, in a scale of the twist scale, I give it 5 twists out of 5. I don't know.
5 twists out of 5.
How crazy is it? 5. How stupid is it? 5. How love is it? 5.
Out of 10?
No, out of 5. Hey.
No, 100%. Like, I still would just watch this just for that. And like, you have to watch the whole film just to have the twist at the ending be the payoff. And that's really like the biggest thing I remember from this movie is that ending.
Yeah.
Or that basically the start of the third act probably.
The climax.
The climax.
The climax.
Yeah, let's use this film
Let's use
terminology.
Oh, excuse me, the climax.
The climax. Yes. Yeah, that you have to watch the whole film.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. Watch Crazy Stupid Love.
Yes.
Just for the climax.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Love.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you again, Dan and Kimmy. Thank you so much for coming on here, for showing me Crazy Stupid Love,
Of course.
because it was great, but also for coming on, for talking about it to me and to the people in home or in their cars or wherever the heck they may be. I'd love if you guys have any like social media you want to share, things you want to plug, something, please tell them.
I think I'll plug Kara, myself, and Danathan are in an improv group called Daytime Delusions.
Yeah, the same one that Jaren, lovely past co-host of the show, is also on.
Yes. So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Daytime Delusions.
Yes.
Exactly how it sounds, Daytime Delusions.
Yeah.
Improv team, check us out.
We're really funny.
Yeah.
You may have noticed it was so easy for us to be funny together. It's because we do this all the time.
It's because we know each other.
This is my podcast. I'm not supposed to plug things, but I'll plug Daytime Delusions. Dan, you please tell the people where to find you, what you'd like them to know about.
Yeah, I will also plug Daytime Delusions.
Oh my gosh, 3 raving reviews. We have to get Jared.
Not because I'm, a part of this lovely friendship and team.
No, of course not.
No.
But, we're actually pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'd like to plug is I am actually currently co-producing a horror film.
Ooh.
Horror.
Horror. Is
Called
there
the-
any love in the horror movie?
Maybe the love, trying to maybe find the loving yourself again.
Okay, no fair. We'll see.
I think the hesitation
We'll see if it
shows
makes it
on the podcast.
I would say there's not like a love
Okay.
arc,
Fine.
but it'd be loving yourself in the way of making sure that you're not crazy.
Oh yeah.
I
Also
love
spooky
that you
scary.
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you love it.
But it's called The Intersection of Madness. So it's going to be a whodunit kind of
Ooh.
supernatural vibes. Is
Yes.
the mixing of the genres, if that kind of piques your interest.
Exciting.
But yeah, you can check us out. We have a fundraiser going on for crowdfunding. It's on Facebook. You can find it under the Intersection of Madness.
Nice.
And there's a lot of cool things. There's a tier you can actually see on the fundraiser, so that if the amount you donate, you get stuff, because we
Love
like to give back to the people that support us.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So for sure, if you're a horror fan or
Horror.
a whodunit
Ooh.
fan,
I like both.
Yeah. Well, I
then
like one of
for
those.
sure. If anything, check it out, share it, tell your people, and if you can, donate.
Very cool. Yeah. And of course, I'll link any and all social media in description of this episode, so it'll be really easy to just click and find. Don't you worry. But thank you guys again so much for coming on the podcast. And of course, to all of my listeners, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us here, having us be a part of your day today. Yeah, I think that about sums everything up. So, bye y'all. Have a good day, night, whatever time of day it is.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a safe trip,
Home?
wherever.
Sure.
Whether it's to the bathroom, to
Or
the kitchen.
To the couch.
Of course. Bye. Love
Bye.
you. Mwah.
Wow.
Oh no.
The kisses blew up.
No.